And for more on this story, I can welcome James Reade, who's Professor of Economics at the University of Reading in the UK, who specialises in the economy of sport. Good morning, James, and thank you very much for joining us. Can I start by asking you what the implications of this move by FIFA to open the World Cup up to private equity might be, and why is it proving so contentious?
It's a fascinating question. It feels, as your piece made out, like an attack on the fundamentals of football. World Cup. The World Cup is the pinnacle of the game, and kids kick a ball around all around the world with the hope of making this game. And we hear about private equity coming in and trying to operate these things. Now, major events don't tend to be big profit-making opportunities. That's what we always say as economists, and so it begs all sorts of questions that have been asked so far in your piece today.
Now, UEFA and several powerful football associations have come out firmly against FIFA's move, but will that be enough to stop it?
Again, it's going to be fascinating to see as an observer. We love the World Cup, and it would be, I think, terrible to think about a World Cup without the European nations, and that is UEFA's gambit. I guess they feel they're strong enough to make a statement. On the other hand, they are one of a number of federations, and FIFA has been expanding the World Cup for 50 years now, and so it's popular because expanding the World Cup means more money for smaller nations that aren't in Europe. So it's not necessarily the case that Europe will have support for any kinds of bold actions that it takes.
Now, there have been a number of very public rifts between UEFA and FIFA in recent months, most recently after FIFA's suspension of US striker Folarin Balogun's red card during the World Cup after pressure from Donald Trump. But UEFA members are still among 200 countries, which is all but 11 of FIFA members, to promise to support Gianni Infantino in his re-election bid. Could this possibly change a bit, prompt a rethink or even a leadership challenge to Infantino?
I think this is the fascinating thing. As you say, there's lots of federations out there around the world that are very supportive of FIFA and what FIFA has done over the years. It's expanded the World Cup, and we saw what was actually a brilliant 48-team tournament this summer. And so he seems in a very powerful position. The only possible challenger was going to be someone potentially from UEFA in the next election. But then this seems to have actually maybe tipped the balance a little bit too far. I mean, it could be money still talks. It's a lot of money being talked about for small football federations around the world. It could be that still is an important factor. But this whole private equity, profiteering, all these kinds of ideas seem very against the real essence of what football is to anyone around the world. And so it does seem a little bit strange, as if he may be tipping things a little bit too far in what is already or was already apparently a foregone conclusion.
Now, Gianni Infantino became FIFA president 10 years ago, and many at the time hoped he would bring in a new broom after the scandals that marked the tenure of his predecessor, Sepp Blatter. But that doesn't really have turned out to be the case.
No, I think that's safe to say. When Sepp Blatter is the one providing seemingly reasonable criticisms of Infantino on social media, these are interesting times. Now, I mean, corruption it's always a strong word to use. As mentioned, what we're talking about here are voting systems, and political systems around the world work on the basis of favour. You vote for me and we will do certain things, and it's been a very good deal over decades now. FIFA's been expanding the World Cup, expanding football around the world for decades. That's nothing new. What Blatter was doing, arguably, on a wholesale thing, expanding the World Cup to 32 teams and so on, is just an extension of that, and bringing football, bringing opportunity to play football to around the world. I think the thing that really changes it and changes the calculus here is this private equity. It does feel like this is taking, something that's ours. The World Cup, yes, okay, FIFA organises it, but it's ours. It's something that belongs to the people. We're all stakeholders all around the world, and taking this away and seeing it become a profit-making opportunity for small groups of people in different parts of the world. that seems to take things to a whole new level.
Thank you very much for that. James Reade, Professor of Economics at the University of Reading.